worn a shade.
Oh, Lace's on mic'd up this week. This is the Modern Longevitarian, and I'm Scott Stanfield, episode number 85. And I'm hearing myself in the echo. I don't know if this is going to work all right or not, but we're going to try it out. Any comments, any questions about it as we go, please put them in. And my daughter Lace, my producer, she's right here, right? She's going to read them off to us. She's going to have be mic'd up today. Thanks to Steve Weber for making that recommendation to us. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to Violife for donating several things to us today. We got some plant-based, vegan, 100% vegan cheeses, and we're going to make some pizza, some burgers, and maybe a quesadilla, all kind of different things that we got going on. So we're going to have to prep these as we go and go from there. Let's see. Tomorrow's show, episode 86, Sean Wells is going to be on. His new book, The Energy Formula. I'm super excited to dig into this. It's almost like he went into my head, the pillars, pulled out, put it into a book, but I'm sure it's on the next freaking level because he is the ingredientologist and has formulated over 500 supplements. And I'm so excited to hear his story and where we can take that show tomorrow. So tune in. And then Friday is going to be Saf Buxey from London, England. We're going to talk about recovery, right? He is a recovered addict and has multiple shows and radio shows, TV shows. He's also a fellow Spirituality Gone Wild. Thank you for watching on Spirituality Gone Wild and also here on LinkedIn as well and on our YouTube channel. So share this with somebody you know who's plant-based, needs to eat more plants, and like it, comment, ask questions as we go. We're going to start out with, what do you think, pizza? Or let's put the burgers in. All right, so we're going to put this pan on. And this is plant-based. This whole show is going to be 99.9% plant-based. And I think the only reason it's not is that, struggle talking here, is that this mayonnaise has some eggs in it, right? So if we put that on the burger, we're going to do different options. We're going to do some plant-based. We are going to do plant-based. What I mean is that we're going to do some low-carb and moderate to high-carb versions of things. So these plant-based burgers are Amy's Sonoma veggie burgers. 100% plant-based, organic, gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free, vegan. Now, they are a little high on the carb count for me. 18 grams of gross carbs minus 3 of fiber. That's going to put it at 15. So I'm obviously not going to do the burger on a bun, but I'm going to make one for Lace that way. So while this is starting here, I'm going to kind of keep that low because they're frozen and that water is going to release into that avocado oil that I put in there. We're going to finish them, though, with some of this. Look at this plant-based butter from Violife. This professional. That's the professional version. They have this non-GMO. This one is, unsalted. Unsalted version. Okay. And also this is their salted version. Again, non-GMO. Right, so we're going to finish this as if I was working in a steakhouse here. We're also going to top these burgers with these cheddar slices here. They sent me these two things we're probably not going to use today. We'll probably taste this online. This is a cheddar flavored cream cheese type product, so a softer, spreadable. Professional cream, plant cream, multi-purpose. Not going to use this today. Be in a post later. And then when we make pizza, we're going to put some of these mozzarella shreds on there. This is in the food service packages. I feel like I'm back in the restaurant. We've got some Parmesan and then Epic Mature Cheddar Flavor Block. I have to taste that. All right. We got this convection toaster oven warming up in the background in the kitchen. I like having access to the kitchen this way, so I can just I can point and pivot and change and make stuff up as we go along. This is a flour tortilla. I stole this idea from my wife. I didn't really steal it. She made pizzas, these quick pizzas for our children over the years. And we had this on a kids menu one time, one of the restaurants that when I was a director of food and beverage at a hotel. Now, you can't recreate this. The closest you can get is buying the Rayo's. It's my wife's homemade New York Italian marinara sauce. All right, we're just going to put a little bit of this on here. Maybe. I like extra sauce, but this is the flour tortilla, burrito size, organic, from Whole Foods. Some people call it whole wallet, whole paycheck. I just think that's what food costs. You can buy organic food for a little bit less at Walmart, Costco, like half the price. You don't have to go to the expensive place to get them. All right. As you can see, we haven't opened some of these things, so we're just going to be testing this stuff out live here on LinkedIn, Spirituality Gone Wild. All right, so vegan mozzarella right there. So we're going to make two pizzas. One high carb with flour, one for lace, and then one with these Siete almond flour tortillas, a little smaller one for me. Okay, we need a little seasoning on here. We're going to put a little granulated garlic on there. Lace, what do you think?
Sure, yeah.
Oregano. We like garlic around here.
Serenity Sam said yummy.
Hey, Sam. Sam also has a show on Spirituality Gone Wild, and she is in England as well. Focuses on the law of attraction and a great musician on top of that. Okay, you ready? Everybody see this? I know, see how this is this is not one of those Food Network, everything's got to be perfect shows with prep cooks in the background and all that stuff. This is real life. Ouch, that burned. All right, we got that one on.
We have double doors on that toaster oven that don't stay open on their own, so it's kind of difficult sometimes to deal with. But
I didn't pull the bottom rack out, like the little trick you figured out to hold the doors open. Closed on me.
It's a teeny tiny tortilla.
This is a teeny tiny one. All right, so this one here, so Siete. All right, this one has 20. You can start adding this up, right? But do a burger with 15 net carbs. This has 17 net carbs. It puts me at 32 just with these two items. So if you're going to be in ketosis, you got to be careful because 55 is going to be like the max you could be at if you're already in ketosis. There's going to be some carbs in in this tomato sauce. And there's going to be some carbs in this vegan cheese. All right, so you just got to pay attention to those things if you want to stay low carb. So you can always fast long enough to get back into ketosis. There's 2 ways to get into ketosis, no matter what your diet is. Okay. Fasting or eating low carb. You can always do both like me.
Serenity Sam said, so now I have to have pizza for dinner now.
Yeah, it is dinner time in your part of the world. So these are quick tortilla crusted pizzas. All right, so if you're looking at carb counts on this, 6 grams, 0 grams of fiber per serving. Serving is a quarter cup, so I have less than that on there. So we can call this like 3. I hear the birds in the background.
Mm-hmm.
The birds just had some babies. If you watch Lace's, any of Lace's Instagram channels, she has more followers on her Instagram channels than I do. Kids Crazy with a K for healthy cooking. She has like 3,000 followers. All right, burgers are starting to bubble over there. We preheated this oven, so these pizzas are going to go pretty quick. So this is a good trick. Like if you got some tomato sauce in the fridge, your kids are hungry, and you need to put something together really quick for them. All right, this cheese is melting. We got a little bubble in the crust going on there. All right, let's see what we got here. I like using tongs more than I like using spatulas a lot of times. Okay.
Chef Bernard Mueller said, my wife, Mexican beside making her own pizza dough, also uses at times flour tortilla, or yes, you heard me right, pita and naan breads. Great choices for changing look and taste.
Yes, you can love naan, and you can buy pitas as well. You can even separate the pitas out, and it'll absorb a lot of sauce and those type of things. So, Chef Bernard, great suggestions. And yes, I'm sure your wife used the tortilla shells and made her own pizza crust. I've made pizza crust out of cauliflower. I've made a carnivore style that's made out of a chicken breast with Parmesan cheese and an egg, and then bake that for 10 minutes. Put a little barbecue sauce on it with some red onion, and so you've got the chicken in the crust, and so it's a barbecue chicken pizza. You know, depending on what phase I'm at, what diet I'm on, those type of things. All right, so we got these burgers going. Nice little crust on those. We're gonna put a little cheese on there. Again, this is the vegan block cheese from Violife. It melts really good. We tested some last night. Spin this around here. Chef, it's like I'm a line cook. I'm cooking pizza and burgers at the same time. All right, what we got to do? Let's got some tomato. You want tomato on your burger?
Yes, please.
Okay, tomato. That there. I planned on, let's do salted. These are in the food service style 1 pound blocks. Just got to take a little bit of this. See how this works. Okay, pizza's ready. Any comments, Lace?
Not so far.
All right, check this out. You guys see that? Get this the right way. All right, Lace, you getting ready to taste this? I didn't get my workout in today yet, so I'm going to be eating, and then we're going to be fasting. I'm going to turn this back on in case we need it, okay? Turbo convection. I like cooking things at 450 degrees because that's what the ovens were at work. That's how I learned how to cook. A lot of people use 350 as their temperature.
It smells nice.
All right. Okay, Lace, here's your pizza. All cut.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It smells very nice.
Mm. What do you think?
It's good. I quite like
I
it.
love it. I think I need a little salt on mine because that's just me.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a lot. Here you go.
Thank you.
I might eat this during the whole show. Mm. You guys get to hear me crunch. So if you wanted to get those cheeses, you'd have to get them separately. This is the Just Like Parmesan grated. And here, I'll show you what it looks like. Let's see how that looks there. Ingredients are filtered water, potato and rice starch, modified potato starch, coconut oil, salt, which is sea salt, rice protein, Parmesan flavor, which is from vegan sources, olive extract, beta carotene, and vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is the one place that people suffer with when it comes to being on a vegan plant-based diet. Let's put a little bit here. Okay. I say that a lot, don't I? Okay. licking my fingers. Good thing I'm just cooking for my family. All right, burgers coming up. Let's throw these, or a bun, in the toaster a little bit. So we have here, this is new to Whole Foods. This is by Dave's Killer Bread, USDA organic, non-GMO, 6 grams of protein. Open up this bun. Throw in here, warming up a little bit. There we go. Got those there. Turn that off. I can't stop eating this pizza. I hear Lace is crunching over there. Okay. What else do you think we should cook?
I don't know.
Let's finish these burgers.
I need a little batter.
This is good pizza. I can hear the water, Lace. What do you want on your burger?
Whatever you want to put in the burger.
You want mayonnaise or mustard?
Neither.
Neither? You just want ketchup?
Yeah.
Tomato. Don't we have any onion? There we go. There's one. That's low carb. No mayonnaise, no mustard? Tomato, you said yes. Lettuce?
Yes, please.
Do you want it shredded or just one leaf?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Or you want buffalo sauce instead of ketchup?
Ketchup.
Ketchup. There we go. Check that out. Plant-based burger. You want to cut?
Sure.
There we go.
Thank you.
Let's put this back. I need a fork. A knife. Let's give this cheese a try. I got double cheese on mine. The pizza's really good. I'm gonna go straight in, just like this. Mm. Really good cheesy flavor, creamy. What do you think, Lace?
It's good.
You know, we get programmed on. Well, hold on. I gotta take another bite. You guys hear me crunch and crunch and crunch? We get programmed on what we should be eating in the first 6, 7 years of our lives. We get programmed on a lot of things. I call this generational cycles. What your profession should be, how do you handle stress, what your emotional intelligence is, what weight you're going to be, because you're just programmed for, if you're stress eating, or if you're, like eat ice cream if something goes wrong in your life. I mean, all these things are just programmed into us. And we end up a lot of the times thinking that we're not good enough or those type of things. And when you find yourself at a point in your life where you're ready to change your diet, whether you're going to go plant-based, vegan, vegetarian, keto, find yourself wanting to eat the same things, but in a different form. Like, for instance, you may have grown up eating flour tortillas, right? Now you can get them made with almond flour. Same thing, different carb count, different glycemic index, all of that stuff. These are not apples to apples, so you can't compare them in terms of sizing, so I'm not going to do that. You may have grown up eating a burger and having, plain old white bread, but now you can have this type of bread, or you can even buy keto bread or make keto bread from a fathead dough recipe. When I started keto 5 years ago, there was none of these things in the store that you could get this. And so I basically just changed the way I ate. And that was a struggle, right? How are you going to, if you're used to eating burgers or pizza or those type of things, have a healthier version of that? How are you going to do that? And I encourage you to eat as many plants as you possibly can. That's the one common thing between all the blue zones. They're 90% plant-based or more. And the blue zones are the 5 areas of the world that have the highest population per capita of people who are over 100 years old. And that's the one common thing in their diet. And so you can't go wrong with eating plants. And there's some people who even believe that you can eat plant 5 days a week, and then you can add in some meat because it's hard to be healthy and be a vegan or vegetarian and those things, because you're missing out on things, because our food is nowhere near as nutrient dense as it once was. And so those are the things that kind of come into play with that. All right, I'm gonna finish this pizza off. I'm thinking quesadilla, Blaze.
Cool.
Or as I like to call it, the Mexican grilled cheese. All right, so what are we gonna do? I'll make yours first. You eat that burger yet?
No.
Is it good?
Yeah.
We can. I don't think this is going to fit in the pan, so I'm going to cut it in half, okay? I'm gonna do it like that. Okay. We're gonna put a little bit butter in the pan once we get closer to getting ready here. Well, we'll do it right now. Turn this back on. Spread that around. We need some cheese. We like lots of cheese on our quesadillas around here. You could put all kind of things in here if you wanted to jazz this up. Some tomato, some scallion. You want some green onion in yours, Lace? No? Okay. Trying to jazz it up. How about some Mexican spices?
Sure.
You're going to have to sound more excited if you're going to be mic'd up, Lace.
I'm tired.
Are you having a carb crash?
Yeah.
Really? That's right. You were eating grapes and you ate a breakfast sandwich before we got started, right?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to let that melt a little bit. Work on that. Any comments, questions, concerns, compliments?
No.
Let's talk about the importance of why this is GMO, genetically modified foods, right? Or non-GMO. Here's the thing. When Monsanto made Roundup, they genetically modified crops so they would not be killed by the pesticides, insecticide, this spray that they put on there. And so what that means is that us as a human being is a larger animal, and we can handle in small doses these chemicals that are sprayed onto the plants, right? And so in the effort to increase yield per acre, increase yield in general, right, to make more money, right, we are truly ingesting, and it's in the environment now. It's in the rainwater. You can even, Dr. Stephanie Seneff, if you haven't seen her work on sulfur and those type of things, I encourage you to watch some of her podcast and TED Talk and those things, but talks about how there's even pasture raised eggs that are organic that have glyphosate in them. And glyphosate is the scientific name behind Roundup. So for all practical purposes, that's why this is called the modern longevitarian, because we are not dealing with the same environment and conditions that the longevitarians in the blue zones or in the past 100, 150 years have dealt with. There are estrogenetics from the plastic. I mean, this is in plastic, right? Right. So there's estrogen. There's all this stuff is in plastic, right? And so with something that we have to deal with is getting that out of our system, right? And extra estrogen production, and the estrogeneration from Dr. Anthony J, who is on the show, and we talked about his book about how it's estrogens are making us fat, sick, and infertile, right? So there are two things that we're looking at in terms of toxins here that cause multiple things, right? One is toxins that actually are killing your microbiome, just like they're killing the microbiome of the earth where these crops are being grown. And then there are And there's even more, at one point, there was more Roundup or glyphosate sprayed in the yards of America than there was actually on the crops. So we are actually poisoning our own water supply from the runoff of our own, keeping our lawns weed free, right? So which is unfortunate, right? And so there's all these things that come into play with that. So the importance of non-GMO food, organic foods, so they don't have it, or even beverages as well, right? And having like dry farm wines or organic wines or organic beers, those type of things, right? We don't realize that the overload that we're sending to our detox system, such as our liver and our kidneys, and that's part of the struggle that we have over time, and because our bodies just can't keep up with that. So we have to be conscious of the toxin load that we're putting on our body and how difficult it is for our bodies to detox. If you got psoriasis or eczema, skin rashes, or any of those type of things, it's probably because our skin, is a secondary detox pathway, and that's how your body gets toxins out. Remember if you're watching the show back in December, I had a rash over my whole body from doing a candida cleanse, and my liver could not keep up with getting the 70 toxins that are released during a candida yeast infection or yeast overgrowth die off. And it took well over a month for all of that to go away from my body. And it happened in stages where it started on my torso, then it went out to my arms, and then it went down to my just the top part of my legs, and then all the way down to my calves. And then it took the same amount of time for all that and it went away in the same order that it came. And so it's super important to understand that, no matter what you do, you can't avoid it. You can't avoid the toxins that are in foods. So, but you can choose wisely and lower the toxic load in that. So we do everything we can to buy organic and in season and non-GMO. Everything. Um, it, but if you think that, like even this mayonnaise from Primal Kitchen is non-GMO, right? And that means that everything in that is. So if you think that the price of something is going to be a struggle in terms of buying organic food or non-GMO food, I encourage you to search out the Clean 15, right? The Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So never buy the Dirty Dozen that is non-organic, but the Clean 15 means that there's very little toxins or very little difference between the organic version and the non-organic version. Now we do buy, avocados that are organic, but they're normally number one on the Clean 15. But would never buy. Look at this gigantic lime we got yesterday, right? But never buy fruits or tomatoes or grapes or any of that type of stuff. That would be a little bit more juice in here, a little bit more butter. Pan's really hot now because I kept turning it up trying to get this to brown. See what we got here. Oh, look at that. We're going to be wrapping this up soon. And again, I want to say thank you to Violife for sending all these samples over. We'll be using these, and you'll see this in future posts. You'll see this in what we're doing now. I'm going to make one more quesadilla here that I'm going to do for me, and I'm going to do this in a low-carb version with this, one of my favorite things, the Siete. Somebody hit the camera. Watch out, legs. All right. Siete flour tortilla, almond flour tortilla. I have another bite here. This burger. If you notice, I didn't put any ketchup on this because I'm pushing my carb count pretty high already. And I didn't buy any paleo low-carb ketchup. So we don't have a little bit of sugar in that one. All right, you guys see this?
Mm-hmm.
How's that look?
Looks good.
All right, we'll throw this in. This hot pan here. Get that all nice and buttery. Flip it over. Get that flour tortilla out of there. Okay. Do you want any salsa or anything with this? No? Give it a bite. It might be hot.
I'll let it cool off.
Okay. More cheese. You know what I'm going to do is do this. Put a little bit of this cheddar in there. Like this. Like this. A little bit of this in there. A little seasoning here. This little blend here, Mexican spice blend. Probably not protocol, but I like doing it. Do here to keep from burning this bad boy. Sometimes when you get into these different, alternate types of tortillas, they may tear a little easy, and this one seems to be working pretty good. I tore it in one little spot there. So again, I'm using the salted 100% vegan butter. Just going to put a little bit on top here. Let that melt down a little bit. As that melts, we'll flip it over. Get a little action on there, a little color, a little GBD. It's a good tasting burger with this cheese on it. Well, all of my folks down in Texas that are struggling to stay warm, we got over a foot of snow yesterday. This has got cayenne pepper sauce, vinegar, cashew butter, olive oil, organic garlic powder, organic paprika. This is vegan. I don't know why it doesn't say that on there. It says keto, paleo friendly, no xanthan gum, whole 30, non-GMO. Put a little buffalo sauce on this burger here. This is Primal Kitchen again. Got this from Costco. What's up? She's putting buffalo sauce on her quesadilla. Try this. All right, once we get this quesadilla done, get that taste tested, I'm going to wrap it up. This is a Modern Longevitarian kitchen. I was going to say the third episode of our cooking show, live cooking show. If if you just tuned in, I just want to say tomorrow, Sean Wells is going to be on the show. This is not a scripted show today for sure. This is a low carb, keto friendly. I wouldn't say it's paleo friendly because this is nothing you can hunt and gather. Definitely a first world product here with almond tortilla, 100% vegan cheese in there, vegan butter. And check this out. Plant butter right there. So with the ingredient list of some of this, just so you guys can see. Palm kernel and palm oil, water, sunflower oil, salt, pea proteins, sunflower lecithin, lactic acid, natural flavors, annatto for color, and vitamin A. Vitamin A typically is beta carotene. That's probably for color as well in there. All right, we're getting a little action on the color here. Lace's lovebirds have 2 babies. They're chirping over in the little background. Yeah, so this is just in the middle of our kitchen in our home, right? And just around the corner, I don't know if you can see you can't see the snow over there, but there's moose roaming around in the backyard. This is getting close. And we're getting close to wrapping it up. Probably should have saved that for the chickens, right? Yes, we do feed our chickens our scraps. All right, let's see what we got here. There we go. Turn this off. Give this a run for his money here once it cools down for a second. So this is like a vegan junk food show. That's funny, right? Vegan junk food.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this has got 2 types of cheeses. It's got their cheddar block on here. Mozzarella. Okay. That is then on this low carb almond flour siete. Great story on the back of this package too. Check them out. If you're looking for low carb options. We can talk about carbs here in a second too. You don't have to. That's so good. So good and crunchy. Here's the thing. I interviewed Lucas Rockwood, who has a TEDx talk, over 2 million views on breathing. And he has a carb challenge. He said, I love the way he said this, throttle your carbs, right? Throttle your carbs, meaning letting off the throttle when it comes to carbs. Some people are eating over 300 grams of carbs a day. But what if your carb count was around your body weight or your ideal body weight? So my ideal body weight is about 165 pounds, depending on how much muscle I have. So somewhere between 165 and 175, in there. And are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so here I am saying I'm going to stay below 55, but what if I decided to not be keto anymore, or to get into ketosis by fasting, not by eating a low carb diet, right? What if I did that, right? Well, it's like I could, instead of like just falling off the complete edge and just loading up on carbs like there's no tomorrow, I could say I'm going to do 155, 165, 175 grams of carbs and throttle them a bit. And that way, because your body stores carbohydrates as glucose, as storage in your muscles and your liver, you're only going to store about 2,500 calories in your body. And the reason you get hungry is because your storage gets Well, it could be because of stress-induced eating or emotional eating. But normally the reason you get hungry is because your storage on carbohydrates is getting low. Now, I highly encourage, this is about fuel for sure, right? Food is fuel. And literally, we are what we eat, literally. And so I encourage you to eat more things like this, right? Like a whole, it closest to its original state as possible foods, you know. And you see my other dishes that I posted on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and all those places, right? So these are far from, a long way from their original way. But if you do want to splurge, this is a great way to go, right? But my point is this, right? Is that we literally are what we eat. And the reason that you get hungry is because your storage gets low on your reserves. And if you're a carb burner, your body can only store 2,500 calories. And that's why marathon runners or people hit this wall in the mid-afternoon if they're fasting or things like that, because their body is struggling switching over to ketosis. Your fuel flexibility between carb burning and fat burning, you're not switching over really easily. And it works like muscle memory. The more you switch over to ketosis, the easier it is to do that. And so that's what I love about it, is that I can switch to fuel. So let's talk about this. Let's say I weigh 165 pounds, right? And I have 10% body fat, 16.5 pounds of fat that are on my body, right? This off?
Take the pan off.
Oh, take the pan off?
Pan burning.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Let me take this off. All right. She interrupted my whole stream of thought, but here we go. 16.5 pounds of fat at 10% body fat. And so we all know that 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories from the formula of, if you want to lose a pound a week, cut your calories by 500 calories a day. So run under what you're going to be spending. If you normally spend about 2,200 calories, eat 1,700 calories, and 500 times 5 is 3,500. And that's why you lose. That's the old formula for losing weight, right? And so you got to think. That means that 10 pounds of fat have 35,000 calories of calories that I can burn on my body if I can tap into those through being in ketosis by either fasting long enough to be in ketosis or being on a low carb lifestyle long enough to go into ketosis. And so metabolic flexibility is super important for your long-term health, your health span, your lifespan, longevity, however you want, whatever word you want to use to explain it. Super, super important to be able to switch back and forth on burning carbs and burning fat. Right? We don't own a scale. We used waist to hip ratio. And I know that when I interviewed Scott Fulton this past Friday, I think it was episode 82, he talked about if your waist was half of your height, that is a good starting point. So someone who's like 6 foot tall, right? I'm 5'10", so that puts me like 70 inches. That means a 35-inch waist, right? And your waist is going to be just above your, belly button for guys. I don't know exactly where it is on women in relation to your belly button, but the smallest part of your waist should be at least half the size of your height in inches, or whatever measurement you use, metrics are there. So this is the first place you start when you're looking at your health span, your lifespan, because how many fat old people do you see? Not many, right? So you want to see healthy, strong for longer people, right? And that starts with the person looking back at you at the mirror. So my name's Scott Stanfield. You can get to the modernlongevitarian.com by going to strongforlonger.com. It'll take you straight there. I encourage you to download my free book called Outstanding Landing, How to Get the Sleep of Your Dreams. Is going to have 7 steps to sound sleep. This book's going to help you fall asleep one of 2 ways. One, you're either going to get these 7 steps. It's going to help you set your bedroom up the right way, get your mindset wrapped around sleep the right way. It's going to help you breathe the proper way at night. Do breathing exercises to send a natural tranquilizer to your nervous system. It's going to teach you how to journal to get the things that are racing through your mind out of the way so you can clear the runway. And it's going to teach you all the steps you need to do to put down your landing gear, when to stop eating, when to stop drinking caffeine, when to stop looking at blue lights, when to stop intense exercise, when to stop drinking alcohol, and why you shouldn't drink alcohol as a sleep aid, because it dehydrates you and will disrupt your restorative sleep for somewhere between 20 to 42%. It's crazy. Or the book's going to help you fall asleep because it's so damn boring that you're just going to fall asleep anyway, right? My daughter's laughing at me, right? So one of two ways that's going to help you. Download the book for free. It's less than 50 pages. It's short, punchy, 7 steps on how to do this. Inspired by a quote by Chuck Yeager, who actually I got an email from on the day he passed away on December 7th saying that he was retired and wasn't open to being interviewed. And before I went to bed that night, he had passed away. So I got an email from him on that day, and it was something I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And so I want to encourage you to go and download that book at strongforlonger.com and do that. We also are working on the Book of Secrets and the Untamed Club with the Spirituality Gone Wild. I'll be working on that later today, hopefully finishing up that this week. Again, tomorrow's episode, Sean Wells. Super excited about his new book, The Energy Formula. And then Saf Buxton on Friday from England is going to be on the show to talk about recovery and his story. And being in the restaurant world, there's so many people who struggle with drugs and alcohol and other addictions. I encourage you to tune in to hear his story and how it can impact your life. This is the Modern Longevitarian Kitchen. My name is Scott Stanfield, episode 85. It's time to roll the credits. Thanks for watching.